Okay, these are the answers to quiz number 4. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you haven't had too many arguments. So the first 5 were the modes of transport in films. Question 1, I asked you about the orca. The orca first appeared in the film Jaws, and it's a boat, as in we're going to need a bigger boat. Question 2, the Nostromo first appeared in Alien. It's a spaceship. It's the one that they were on when the thing happened. Question 3, the Ectomobile, Ecto-1, first appears in Ghostbusters. I believe it's actually a converted hearse and or a converted ambulance. But if you put hearse, ambulance, car, bus, van, you can have any of those as far as I'm concerned. Automobile. The Black Pearl first appeared, this is question 4, the Black Pearl first appeared in Pirates of the Caribbean, brackets, Curse of the Black Pearl. Up to you how strict you are on that. I think Pirates of the Caribbean is fine because that's what everyone called that film. Although if we were talking about the Star Wars franchise, I'd be being really strict and saying The Last Hope. So up to you, really. Leave that one in your court. And number 5, the Milano first appears in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the spaceship of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Black Pearl is a boat or a ship. I don't think I said. I'm hoping you knew. So question 4, Black Pearl, Pirates of the Caribbean was a boat or ship. Question 5, Milano is a spaceship. Guardians of the Galaxy. I asked you to put things in the right order for the next set of questions. Question 6, normally as food goes down, it would go out of the stomach, into the duodenum, then into the jejunum, then into the ileum. Normally. Question 7. In a normal year, the vernal equinox would happen somewhere around the 20th, 21st of March. May Day would happen at the start of May, and Pentecost would happen some weeks later. So the correct order was the vernal equinox, May Day, Whitsun, or Pentecost. Question 8. I gave you 3 former heads of the United Nations. Uthant was the longest to go. He came first. Then Boutros Boutros-Ghali, and then Kofi Annan. So the correct order was Uthant, Boutros Boutros-Ghali, then Kofi Annan. I gave you, for question 9, I gave you 3 geological periods, and I gave you Ordovician, Permian, Jurassic. And that's the right order. I gave you them in the right order. I'm going to give you the mnemonic, because I gave it in the quiz, that we were taught at college for how you remember the geological periods. It is: camels often sit down carefully, perhaps their joints creak. And that is Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, Permian, Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. So there you go. Never let it be said you don't learn something from these quizzes. And lastly, from the sublime to the ridiculous, I asked you Joe McFadden, Ore Oduba, Jay McGuinness. What order did they come in? They are all former winners of Strictly Come Dancing. Jay McGuinness won first, then Ore Oduba, and then Joe McFadden, of those 3. So the correct order was Jay McGuinness, Ore Oduba, Joe McFadden. Flags. I asked you about the yellow, blue and red flag. At the top there, that was Colombia. And I asked you to name another flag with yellow, blue and red from another continent. So you couldn't have Venezuela or Ecuador, which would both have fit the colour scheme, but they're the same continent. You could have had Andorra. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. Andorra, Chad, Moldova, Romania, and then I reckon you're probably all right with Mongolia. All the sort of symbol-y stuff is yellow on that, so borderline. Or Armenia. Again, the yellow is more orange on Armenia, but up to you. I think you probably allowed it. Question 12 was this one in the middle, the red, yellow and green one. That's the flag of Grenada in the Caribbean. So that counts as being in North America. There's a vast raft of countries, most of them in West Africa, but not exclusively, that you could have had. Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, the Republic of Congo, Guinea, Mali, Mauritania, Rwanda, Senegal, Cape Verde, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Togo, Sao Tome and Principe. You could also have had Burma/Myanmar, and you could also have had Bolivia, and you could also have had Lithuania. They're all red, yellow and green flags. Question 13 was this bottom one with the red stars on. That's the flag of Burundi in southern Africa. Similar white, well, not similar, but red, white and green flags you could have had are Belarus, Hungary, Bulgaria, Iran, Italy, Lebanon, the Maldives, Tajikistan, Mexico, Oman and Seychelles. As I said at the start, Wales isn't a sovereign nation as recognised by the UN, for better or for worse, so I'm afraid I wouldn't count that. If you're feeling particularly Welsh and you want to count it, it's up to you and whoever you're playing with. Question 14, I showed you this one. That's the flag of India. So you were looking for another orange, white and green flag. You could have had Ireland, you could have had Côte d'Ivoire, also known as the Ivory Coast in Africa, and Niger, also in Africa. And lastly, this one. That's the flag of Botswana, and the only other sovereign nation with a blue, black and white flag is Estonia on the Baltic. You get half a point for each of those for getting the flag right, half a point for getting a correct nation with the same colours in the flag. And lastly, 5 questions where I asked you about a piece of music and said, what's it more usually known as? So question 16, I asked you about Beethoven's Piano Sonata in C sharp minor. That's the Moonlight Sonata. So on. Moonlight Sonata. Question 17, Domenico Modugno nel blu dipinto di blu was a Eurovision entry for Italy back in I think it was the 1960s somewhere, and it's far more commonly known as Volare. So Volare, made popular by the likes of the Gypsy Kings. 18, Sous le dôme épais, Sarah Parkin, I hope you're listening and my French is better than it was last night, by Delibes, is more commonly known as the Flower Duet. Again, made very popularly famous by the British Airways advert. But it's from the opera Lakmé, the Flower Duet. 19, Mozart's Serenade for Strings in G major, K525, is more commonly known as Eine kleine Nachtmusik, or A Little Night Music is fine as well. That's what that translates as. And lastly, Dvorak's Symphony No. 9, Opus 95, is more commonly known as the New World. I didn't say when I asked the question, it does involve the Hovis advert music, also known as Going Home. So, up to you whether you give yourself a point for saying that. I hope you've enjoyed this. Give me a like, give me a comment, let me know how you did, tell your friends, share the link to my page with your friends. Yeah, enjoy. And I hope you're all staying safe, staying inside, being good. Yeah, lots of love. Bye.